Right, so Representative Thomas Massie still seems to be enemy number one with Trump and the GOP because turns out a proposed censure of Thomas Massie hints at divide in Kentucky GOP amid Trump feud. So, which I'm going to say this, people of the great state of Kentucky, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but it takes a lot of courage to be a consistent person. And I think the attacks that Trump is doing to Thomas Massie is absolutely stupid.
One of the reasons why I'm really glad that Elon's at least talking this way is because I've been appalled at Donald Trump's treatment of Thomas Massie, where and I really think it's been just, it's shown just the worst in Donald Trump. It's kind of his nature as a bully, his kind of fragile ego. Thomas Massie, look, the thing with him and Elon Musk, okay, it escalated quickly, and yes, I think Donald Trump crossed that line first, but Elon Musk fired right back and did not try to de-escalate, the situation, at least at first. Then he kind of did. Thomas Massie never made it personal. Thomas Massie is clearly, whether you agree with him or disagree with him, and obviously we agree with him, but he's clearly standing on principle. Everybody knows that Thomas Massie would have been a no vote for this bill if Joe Biden had proposed it. He'd have been a no vote for this bill if a different Republican had gotten in. This is what he believes. He's against this stuff. He's voted against countless spending bills since he's been in Washington, D.C. And for Donald Trump to, the venom with which he's gone after Thomas Massie is just, it makes no sense at all, given what the dispute is over. There's people have been so much shittier to him in DC, and he's buried the hatch with them. He's got never Trumpers all over the place. I mean, his Secretary of State was a never Trumper. His vice president compared him to Hitler. He's got all these people around him who have committed far more egregious kind of I don't know, acts of disloyalty toward him than Thomas Massie, who's just voting his conscience as a member of the House of Representatives. It makes no sense.
Yeah, well, it does make sense because when you are standing up against Trump, he wants people to fall in line. So what's going on? Jake Richardson IV has had enough of U.S. Representative Thomas Massie. Jake Richardson IV. Oh. Well, my goodness gracious, cretaceous, young man. All right, but the former chair of the Jefferson County Republican Party and longtime member of the Republican Party's Kentucky's Executive Committee can't force the outspoken representative of Northern Kentucky, who's caught in an escalating feud with President Trump, out of office. He can't even cast his own vote against Massie. Richardson lives in Louisville, represented in Congress by Democrat Representative Morgan McGravy. So instead, Richardson said he's going to do the only thing he can: put other state GOP executive committee members in the uncomfortable position of having to take a stand with a vote this summer to censure Massie. It's purely symbolic and will have no legal effect, he acknowledged, but it brings attention to a problem, particularly attention in the district where he is. I'm not saying it will be successful, but I'm putting people on the record, he said on July 1st. Richardson cited Massie's unrealistic philosophy. What? Philosophy of us not being in debt and burdening future generations? There's a lot of things I'll disagree with Representative Thomas Massie on. And I do invite him to be on the show. He's actually the first Republican politician to follow the show. Take that, Democrats. An ineffective record in passing bills. Really. As his basis for the censure resolution, as well as Massie's opposition to advance a national budget and policy bill and call for strikes in Iran to be approved by the legislature. Oh, I don't know. I agree with, Congress approving war powers. I agree with that. His resolution that additional military action in the Middle East nation should be taken up in Congress first has more than a dozen Democratic co-sponsors. Well, yeah, Republicans, you should be on board with that too. Because I would not want a Democrat to be doing the same thing Trump is doing. How does that sound? If that was Biden or Kamala, I would be against it too. If it was a Green Party person, I'd be against it. If it was a socialist, I'd be against it. And hey, if it was a libertarian doing the same thing Trump was doing, I would be against it. It's like I'm losing my brain here, man. Massie, in a statement from his campaign, noted several disagreements raised in Richardson's proposed resolution took place before Trump endorsed him in 2022, calling him a first-rate defender of the Constitution. At the time, and includes Massie's opposition in the 2020 CARES Act, which he said led to enabling fraud, funding mail-in elections, and fueling inflation. Wow. Interesting. I listened to the Republicans in Kentucky's 4th congressional district. Jack is not one of them, Massie wrote. The Republican Party of Kentucky declined to comment. 4 members of the state GOP's 54-member executive committee who represent the 4th congressional district also did not reply to emails seeking comment, along with Boone County Republican Party, which passed a censure measure against U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell, Turtle Boy, in January over breaking with Trump on a cabinet nominee. A push against the representative is likely to face pushback from a good number of Massie supporters. While Richardson estimated somewhere close to 40% of his constituents out there have no clue what this guy's doing, Northern Kentucky voters have consistently rallied behind him since he took office in 2012, including in the primary races against other Republicans. In his statement, Massie noted he received more than 75% of his district's vote in the last 2 primary elections. The district voted overwhelmingly for Trump last year as well. So, okay, why are you going to try and censor him? See, this should tell you that Trump is greatly afraid of Massie. But also, I need to point this out here. Trump advances massive spending bill. Not Massie. Massive. The U.S. President Donald Trump has overcome internal Republican opposition to his sweeping spending bill through an all-caps public message and private calls during a key session. Together with House Speaker Mike Johnson, Trump secured a narrow win in a vote on Thursday, clearing the way for a final debate on the proposed legislation. So, all right, if you're on Medicare and Medicaid or anything else, up the wazoo is what you're going to be feeling. Dubbed the big, beautiful bill by the president, the legislation outlines key priorities for Trump's second term. It extends tax cuts implemented during his first administration and allocates increased funding for the military and border security. To offset a ballooning federal deficit, the bill also slashes funding for social programs like Medicaid, and a supplemental nutrition assistance program, also known as SNAPs. Snip, snap, snappity, snap. The 2019, I read that wrong again. The 219 to 213 vote followed a tense overnight session and mirrored to a similarly close Senate decision, which passed the bill by a single vote after extended debate on Tuesday. Trump has urged lawmakers to send the bill to his desk by Friday, coinciding with the 4th of July holiday. Listen, I'm not going to tell you how this is going to end, but the big, beautiful bill is going to be signed by Donald Trump, okay? Pretend to be surprised, or try to pretend to be surprised. As the GOP leadership worked to consolidate support, Trump took to his Truth Social, sharply criticizing dissenting lawmakers. What are the Republicans waiting for? What are you trying to prove? MAGA is not happy. It is costing you votes, he wrote. All caps. This should be an easy yes vote. Ridiculous. Triple exclamation points. The bill had reportedly stalled amid opposition from fiscal conservatives who demand deeper spending cuts and from swing district Republicans worried about potential backlash from constituents. Trump reportedly spoke directly with several holdouts in the hours leading up to the vote. In the final tally, Representative Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, good to see you, was the only Republican to join Democrats in opposing the rule. Others who had previously expressed doubt either voted in favor or abstained. Speaker Johnson denied that any deals have been done to secure support, stating that offering concessions would open the Pandora's box and invite future gridlock. He added that lawmakers needed clarity on revisions made by the Senate. The spending bill previously ruined Trump's relationship with former ally and key donor Elon Musk, who criticized the measure for exacerbating the national debt. Shortly before the Senate-approved bill, Musk called it insane and again threatened to form a third political party. All right, Elon, good luck. Trump's claims Musk's opposition is motivated by fears of losing federal subsidies for his business, such as electric vehicle manufacturer Tesla. In response, he suggested the billionaire could face scrutiny from the Department of Government Efficiency, which Musk headed, a month ago. Doge is a monster that might have to go back and eat up Elon, Trump said. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? The answer is a lot. What could go wrong? So what's the takeaway? The real takeaway is that no matter what, Massie will probably be okay. He's not going to probably face off against any kind of censure at all. He's probably not going to face it. But as the Republican reconciliation bill barrels towards final passage in Congress, the Trump White House is misrepresenting the measure's tax provisions in an attempt to paint an unpopular legislation as a boon for workers and ordinary seniors rather than a massive handout to the wealthiest of Americans. In an ex post late Wednesday, White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt declared that any lawmaker who opposes the 887 bill is voting against no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security benefits. Leavitt's post was sufficiently misleading as to draw a community note on the Elon Musk-owned platform, which clarified that the Republican bill does not fully eliminate taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security, as it claimed. It offers limited deductions with caps, $25,000 for tips, $12,500 for overtime, and excludes high earners with no provision to remove taxes on Social Security. As Axios reported Thursday, the Republican legislature does not include an increased tax deduction for tax filers age 64 and older, but the benefit leaves out the poorest seniors and expires in 2028 when President Donald Trump is set to leave office. Tax deductions for overtime and tips will also expire in 2028. That's unlike the major tax breaks for the wealthy that are included in the legislation, which extends soon to expire provisions of the 2017 Trump GOP tax law. For example, the new Republican bill would permanently raise the estate tax exemption, allowing ultra wealthy individuals and married couples to give their heirs up to $15 million or $30 million without paying any federal taxes. A married couple worth $30 million, where both spouses die in 2026, would pay $6 million less under the bill compared with the current law. Oh, isn't that special? So you see, you get nothing and you should be happy. Smile that you get nothing and be happy. Smile and rejoice as you get nothing in return. This is America. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Adding on to here as well, it looks like with Trump's win, this will be a boost for him. And Democrats, I know what they're going to run on. No one be surprised, but they're going to be talking about impeaching Trump, and tomorrow's July 4th, and you want to know what's going to happen? Here's what's going to happen. People are going to be complaining about the big bill and talking about impeaching Trump before anything else. So for all the No Kings March that's going to be happening, don't be surprised when you see all the cringe social media posts. We get nothing, and you're supposed to be happy.